What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode review. Today we are going to be going over episode 8. Now, maybe a couple hours ago, I just watched episode 8 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, and boy, is this an episode that I'm ready to talk about, because this was an intriguing episode. I I could not even explain my facial expressions when I watched this episode. This was so surprising to me. I didn't even know what I was watching anymore, but we're gonna get all on that in today's episode. You guys might already be excited to see what this is if you're reading the previews and stuff like that. I went into this completely blind. I said before that I was not gonna do I was not gonna watch any previews. I was not gonna watch any, read any summary and cast lists, just because of the fact that I wanted to wait until I got back into watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I went on break after Brains ended, and I took a little bit to actually start watching Sevens because I had a hard time getting it. But now that I'm finally caught back up, I'm gonna wait until episode 10, and then we'll get back to what we were originally doing with Brains and doing it on this series. But I've talked on long enough. Let's actually get into this review. Like I just said a second ago, this episode was interesting. This episode, I actually paused the episode because I could just not fathom what the heck was going on. So let's talk about it. So we started this episode off in this weird desert area. Gonna say this right now, reminded me of Crash Town from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I don't recognize any characters that I can describe them looking like. I think that just the whole desert vibe kind of remind me of that. We meet this kid that was just walking through this desert because he was trying to get his mom some water. He finds these three big guys that are drinking buckets and buckets of water. He goes and gets his butt kicked and then becomes into this mad I don't know what you would describe him, but he looked like this mad dude. He just get all buff and all that stuff. And that's where they cut into the opening of the show, and then this is where it gets really interested. So this was, I'm gonna be honest, with me and Yu-Gi-Oh shows, I like when they really get into the story. Filler episodes have never been really my forte, just because of the fact that I love the stories when it comes to it. And I feel like I just want to get this story, because this is one of those episodes where you can just skip it and you'll be fine. Or at least I know from right now, from watching only episode 8, I don't know if this guy is ever gonna pop back up in this episode, a new character that we meet, or if he's not. But that is just something that I'm gonna have to judge afterwards because I really don't know. But this is one of those episodes where I felt like you can just skip this episode and nothing happened. The only thing that really was interesting for me at the very beginning was they went down to the area because if you remember, I think episode 6, they found out that the little machine kind of thing, the I can't remember what they called it, but the thing had disappeared. You know how Yuga was able to install rush tools? Everything just disappeared. They even brought Kaizo down there for a initial search. They didn't find anything. We actually get to see Mimi in this episode again, spying in that non spying gear. You'd think she would learn from the last time she used that, but she got she literally has this thing where she gossips about her being famous after uninstalling rush tools, which, man, this episode was wild, dude. This episode was interesting. But they come out of thing. They are hot because apparently it's a hot day. They really want to get something to drink. They see a Roman at the vending machine. She just drinking away. They find out that the vending machine literally just ran out and she had the last one. They go over to the other vending machine that was just across the street from them. And then we see this cloud of dust, and boom, here comes this big, bulky dude that we saw in the very beginning of the episode. And the whole premise of this just it's just ridiculous. I will say though, I'm glad that they kind of started the duel a little bit early, because I feel like they did the duel way late at the end of the episode, and I kind of like that good pay. I kind of like the good pace of kind of doing it in the middle of the episode, not towards the end. I'm glad that they kind of started early and then they kind of ended there and kind of like grew the story in between the duel, even though, like, yeah, people just like to watch the duel as they unfold, but I like the story in between it for some reason. I don't know. But literally, he won't let him go through unless he duels Rook. He declares himself as the duel king. Rook does not like that one bit and challenges him to a duel. And that's basically where the whole duel of this episode starts. I really enjoyed this duel. There is another piece of tutorial that's in this episode, and that is talking about field spells. They literally in this episode talked about what the heck a field spell is, which I understand. They do this because new Yu-Gi-Oh players need to understand what all this stuff is. Honestly, I didn't think we were actually going to see a field spell, but hey, I'm glad that we still get to see field spells and rush duels, so that's kind of good to know. But let me kind of talk about his deck. His deck is known to be a post-apocalyptic world deck, which is just a beast warrior type deck. I don't think it has really specific beast warriors, but it just about beast warriors, and it has a field spell where all beast warrior monsters gain 300 attack points, while all dragon monsters. I'm assuming it's just dragon. From what it sounded like, only dragons got the down effect, but maybe others do. I don't really know. But dragon type monsters lose 300 attack points, leaving Rook at a very heavily disadvantage. I mean, he starts his first turn, he summons a whole bunch of monsters on his field. He did the 3 summons like normal. Rook got 2 monsters. Well, he got 1 monster in the field, realized the effect hurts him, summons another monster, gets the tribute in, and summons Rush Dragon Dragears, which I realized that I said is saying wrong. I the thing was there's no telling me to stop, and there's no telling me to stop. There's a reason why I said that twice. I said that completely wrong. I said I think you can't stop me now. And I'm sorry if I got that wrong the first time, but I ended up getting that wrong. But he summons Rush Dragon Gears. It gets affected as well, but he was able to deal some damage to him because Dragear still had 2200 attack points. But it goes to his turn, and he summons his ace monster, which I do not have the name written down again. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys know at this point I'm very bad at this. But yeah, this is an interesting name. His ace monster stick is Catapult Devil Kong, King of the Beast Machine World. Holy crap, that's a mouthful. Let me mention something too about this. Every time he talks about the graveyard, he says hell. I don't know what the heck his whole deal is, but jeez, he is really trying to fit his character. And let me kind of talk about, and we learned a little bit in this episode why he's doing Rook. He blames them for rush duels. So the whole thing with them is that, and this is where I'm talking about, like, I feel like you. I feel like Konami or Studio Bridge is trying to hurt my brain or something like that, because the whole reason he's doing this is because if he likes rush duels and he wants to do it, but his mom, which we'll talk about in a little bit, his mom does not want him to rush duel, she says that if she catches him rush dueling, or if she hears him wanting to rush duel again, she will never make spaghetti again. I can't remember what it was, but it was a type of spaghetti. I can't remember what it was. And that's where I had to pause the episode. It's like, the fact that you are dueling just because your mom is not going to make you a certain spaghetti, dude, there's a ramen shop you can probably go to and do it. Like, there is no point in this. I mean, like, yeah, normally a lot of people like their mother's cooking over actual, like, if you go to a restaurant or something like that. I understand that, but they've found a way that makes some stupid reasons to actually want to duel, which I don't really mind. I mean, it's a cool thing. It's not like it's serious as what Brains was, and maybe that's why it's a little bit weird for me, because coming back from something like Brains, like, I came back into Yu-Gi-Oh! From Brains because I dropped after Zexal. I didn't watch Arc 5 at the very beginning just because, I was doing other stuff. I was growing up as a kid, so I really didn't watch Arc 5. But I came back to Vrains because I saw the duel with Bowman, the second one, and I thought this was really interesting, the Link summon mechanic and all that, so I went back into the series. And just coming from Brains, which was always serious, to just these goofy type things, it's it's a it's a breath of fresh air. I will say that, but it is also weird at the same time because they've made some really weird reasons of why they duel, and because that's basically this entire thing. But let's get back into the duel. I just wanted to mention that because that fathomed me so much. But Rook ends up getting down to 500 life points. He ends up summoning two monsters in defense modes. Activates Beast Devil Kong's effect, which is if he tributes monsters on his field, he can destroy monsters that are in defense position. So he was able to destroy the two monsters he had in defense position to leave only Rush Dragon Dragears on the field. And then because of the field spell, he was able to get more attack points. He summons two other monsters onto the field, and then he goes on a full-on assault and gets Rook down to 500 life points. There was no way he can stop it. He used an entire hand on the last turn, and he didn't set any cards or anything like that. So we go to his turn, and this is where we start to get really good things. He activates a couple of spells, and I don't memorize every card, so forgive me. But he activates these cards. I think I know one card effect that he activated was he returns 3 dragon monsters to his deck, shuffles the deck, and draws one card. He draws. We see this monster we never seen before, and this is Rook's new ace monster. He gets two monsters on the field, tribute summons, does this little summoning animation like in the last episode. Yugioh got his ace monster with lacrosse. He gets his own new ace monster, which is Dragonic Slayer. Love the design of this. This is my favorite designed ace monster out of all the monsters we've seen so far. Even Gakuto. Gakuto's was my favorite, honestly. I just like the whole theme of it. Again, it kind of reminded me of, what was it, Goemon from Persona 5, and Persona 5 has hit me a little while. Like, it's one of my favorite like games, so I really did like that. That's where it kind of hit me around. But this one beats it by a long shot. The summoning animation of Dragonic Center, and I loved the design of it. Then he activates, I didn't know this one, Phoenix Dragon's effect, which was, I think he was able to tribute him or something like that to get back a level 5 or higher monster. He gets back Rush Dragon Dragear. He tributes this monster, summons it again, and he has the two big boys on the field. He activates Draconic Slayer's effect, which was he was allowed to a spell or trap card that was on the field. He destroys the field spell, and this is where he's able to go ham, dude. He activates Rush Dragon Dragear's this effect again to be able to attack twice if he is able to destroy a monster. He attacks the two random monsters on the side, gets them down to 100, and uses Dragonic Slayer to attack Devil Kong and win the duel. I think this duel, even though like it's definitely not my favorite duel out of them all, although that summoning of Dragonic Slayer was incredible. I really did love it. This was definitely the most lackluster out of the two, especially when we learned the reason. I thought maybe I was kind of hoping like maybe there was something more personal than that. If I'm being honest, I mean that's the one thing I like the reasons of why they duel. I wanted to have a good reason why they duel. And sure, like, yeah, I guess some people might think this is a really important reason. Like, I mean, the spaghetti is going to be gone if you don't duel, but, or if you want to duel, but, which is no point. Oh no, and like, he got mad too because he's scared her because he dressed up as this, big bulky dude. Like, apparently he was supposed to be some type of legend, and it scared the crap out of his mother, so, yeah, and he blamed Rook for that as well, but anyway, I kind of wish there was. I wish that we had learned more about Rook's backstory. We barely have gotten any of that, and I feel like we are gonna get some more on it. I was hoping like maybe it was something to do with his past, and maybe his mom just doesn't remember it. Maybe we can learn something about that. But oh well, what happens when it happens. I mean that's. I'm thinking about what the original Yu-Gi-Oh might have done, like Studio Gallop want to do, but this is Studio Bridge now. They're gonna do whatever they want. They're doing perfectly fine though. Like I didn't really mind this. It was really fascinating. It was really interesting, but the mask ends up breaking, and we see this kid, like, you think he's this old bulky dude, but he's just a innocent fourth grader. Yes, he's a fourth grader. Honestly, the God, I thought he was probably in eighth or ninth grade. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, he talks about how he really does like rush dueling, and the whole duel was like he wanted Rook to convince his mom about rush duels, and let's actually talk about the mom real quick. If you remember in the previous episode, Mimi actually told us, and it was a brief second about she has having a son and everything. This person that dueled this episode was Mimi's son. What an interesting family reunion it was, because she ends up seeing like the field spell is activated. She peeks in and sees like the biker dude dueling, and she realizes immediately that it's her son dueling, and she just like backs into the corner after she sees the duel going on. She walks away after the duel, and those two girls are back. Like, if you remember the last episode, the two girls that was spying on her, saying like maybe we should tell the teacher and stuff. Those two girls were back this episode, and I thought that was funny as heck, because I did not see, I did not think that they would be in this episode. They didn't say anything. I just thought that was funny that they were still kind of spying on her, and again, her looking so obvious. I don't blame those two girls for being suspicious. I mean, she's acting so suspicious. Like, she's not really good at this spying stuff. But he talks to Rook a little bit about how he likes rush duels and stuff like that. Rook says like he needs to tell her that he likes rush duels, and that's just gonna be the way it is. And he kind of agrees, because he says during the duel that he is sticking to himself. Like, he dressed up as this bulky guy to kind of like impress his mom and like make his mom feel proud of him or something like that. But he just needed to be himself, and I really like that line of dialogue from Rook. How like he's just gonna stay himself, and I think that really is just something that I feel like a lot of people take for granted. Like, they try to be someone else to kind of like be known more, and I feel like that it just seems a lot of people like. I don't try to do that as much, but there is times where I've done that before. I'm not gonna lie about that. I've tried to act like I'm this like I know what I'm doing, like I'm this cool guy because I do this other stuff, and it's just not good. You're just gonna end up looking stupid if you do it. Like, and take it from this guy. Like, he dressed up like this bulky weird dude, and what did it end up doing? It ended up scaring his own mom. He didn't know where his son was. But he goes back home. He tells his mom that he likes rush duels. It's quiet for a second, but in the end, she still understands and actually still makes the spaghetti for him. Like, and I feel like Mimi kind of got an understanding, and we got it confirmed if it wasn't confirmed already, because she literally said, "That's my son." But like, at least we got to see the interaction with these two, and she seemed happy, which was kind of good. And I feel like Mimi is still kind of in between. Like, I don't know if she's like confirmed, like if she really wants him to rush duel or something like that. Like, if she's really thinking rush duels aren't that bad. I think she's still like in the mix of she doesn't know what. Or maybe she just fully thinks that they need to install it. Because I feel like the last episode, she really had that thought of maybe rush duels aren't that bad, but then immediately switched after that. And I feel like there's some sort of back and forth. It's not very obvious in this, but I feel like there was some back and forth, if I'm going to be honest. But that might just be me overthinking it. I overthink a lot of stuff. But yeah, that was basically the episode, guys. This was a very, very interesting episode. This is probably the weirdest Yu-Gi-Oh episode that I've ever watched that I remember. This this whole like experience was just insane. This isn't my favorite episode, I will say that though. The only it still doesn't beat the last three episodes, which was 3, 4, and 7. I really did like those. It's probably on the least side, because this whole this whole episode was just really weird. It was really weird for me to watch. Like, I felt uncomfortable at some points, but I still enjoyed it. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna enjoy this episode because of how I don't really like to watch how weird it is. I don't know why. I just have that problem. Like, I want to just really understand it, and like I want to kind of feel it. Like, when it comes to like with Reigns, and I know I keep bringing that up. Reigns, you kind of felt what was going on. Like you can felt the anger that these characters felt, like with Lightning being the crazy dude he is and all that stuff, and where he thinks what he's doing is right. Like in this episode, I'm just like, oh my gosh, whatever. Can we please get something serious? Because I know like this is supposed to be a kid show, and I actually am liking like the goofy kid show. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I don't know. I have a whole bunch of mixed feelings on this, but I think I'm gonna be done talking. I think this is gonna be the end of the episode. I think I said words there for a second. But anyway, this is going to be in the episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought in this episode. I would really love to know because oh my gosh, this was a journey. I will say this. This was an absolute journey. And I expect we're going to see more. I thought the last episode with a 37-year-old mom that looks like a preschooler basically spying on what was it? I think they're sixth graders. I think. Well, what grade would you be in at 11-year-old? I think you would be a 6-year-old, I believe. Or no, aren't they seventh graders? Never mind. I think they're seventh graders. I think they even said that. But let me actually end the episode. Let me not keep talking about that. But love to know what you guys thought of the episode. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 review. Bye.